You're smelling absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. Okay. It was 1.5 to 2 cups of water, because we measured out our masa harina by volume versus weight. There's a big difference. So 2 cups, if you level, if you pour it in, level it out, might weigh 500 grams. But if you're in an environment where it's more humid, it might weigh 560 grams. So then you lose, you have to use less water on there. Hello, other Belle. I am so sorry about that. How are you doing? Belle, I need to make an appointment with you. Are you working? What are you working next week? What are you working next week? Blob. Hang on, I gotta put the knife away. We can't have Blob touching the knives over there. My husband is Sonoran Mexican. All the foods he and his family shared. Oh, I love that. I bet you have some wonderful recipes. Wonderful, wonderful recipes. But Miss Bell, however, we put some honey in jars if you want one. Well, when I get ready to make my jams and stuff like that, we might have to do some quid pro quo. We might have to do the sweet. I will see you on Tuesday. I will see you on Tuesday. So let's get out a measuring cup. We're going to measure out 2 cups of hot water. Whether or not we use all of it, we don't know yet. Oh, is it? No, here it is. Can you tell I use this spoon a lot, Jedi? All right, so it's about 150 degrees. That's warm. That's warm. So the instructions are: mix it, add the water, good consistency. It should be firm and springy when touched. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to have to go. You know what, guys? We're going to have to go with the, I didn't read this right. I was reading it like dumpling dough. It wants us to rest for an hour. What time is it? Oh yeah, we don't have time to let that rest for an hour. Well, shoot. Yeah, let it rest for about an hour. I didn't know you let corn tortillas rest. I had no idea. You don't have to let it rest? Oh, thank goodness. Okay, we're not going to let it rest. I love it. We still have our backup plan if we need it. Why would it tell me to let it rest for an hour? That doesn't make any sense. Might have to sand it back into shape. I love it because it shows that it's loved. It's my love. And I only wash them. I wash them with hot soapy water, rinse them really good, let them sit out, and then let them dry out. Because I honestly have never, I've seen people make corn tortillas. I've read up on making corn tortillas. I've never seen it. Thank you for that alert, Kath. I appreciate that. I have never seen them allow them to, they put the dough off to the side. Our dumpling dough, we only let rest for like 20 minutes, and that was it. Okay, so we're going to add in, I'm going to add in 1 cup of water. I had to teach some of my coworkers that recently moved to Norway and wasn't used to snowstorm. Oh my gosh, yes. Had a snowstorm last year that gave knee-high snow during the workday. Not unusual for us, but huge surprise for them. Had to show how to rock their car. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Spatula pride. These Jedi, one of my mods here, made me, I've got a wonderful turning type spatula. 2 of these wooden spoons, which I love these wooden spoons because of the way this shape is. So you can get into the corner of a pan. Oh, I love that. Okay, so this is a little dry. We're going to add a little bit more. Now I'm just going to add a little tiny bit at a time. Not a whole lot. Hey, Taki. Ha. I'll tell you, can't take me anywhere. I'm using that same shape right now. It's like the perfect shaped spoon. I'm going to kind of press it now, because sometimes when you press it, you don't need to add any more water. But I do have a lot of dry on the bottom, so I just want to make sure that. And if I remember correctly, we don't knead this, we just bring it together. Is that right, Whiskey? There's not like a lot of kneading, we're just kind of bringing, yeah, I think there's something for it, like the feel of it. Making some sauteed potatoes with shallots and jalapenos. I had a fun hair last weekend. That was so adorbs. Taki, I love how you just get so creative. Okay. I can see why it would want it to sit. Oh, Jedi, I absolutely love them. Absolutely love them. I can see why they'd want it to sit because they want the masa harina to hydrate a little bit. I'm not kneading, I'm just making a ball. So let's do this. We're going to let it sit here for right now while I kind of tidy up some stuff. I want to add the cilantro to the pico de gallo. I want to test the meat and see where we're at on the meat. And that'll give it a little bit of time. We'll have a little bit of time for it to rest. We're just gonna let it do this. You can sit over here, have some nice quiet time. Shh, rest, rest, just rest. You just sit there, I'll take care of everything. I will take care of everything. In my defense, I was bored. But yeah, okay, but Taki, some of the greatest things come out of that type of situation. Some of the greatest things. And I think that is terrific. Lord Velos, hello. You're not late. You're not late, Lord Velos. You're here when you're meant to be here. Remember that, never a moment before. You were here right at the time. It is time for you to walk into the room. Okay. This way I can get this kind of cleaned up. We can get our, oh, there you go, Blob. There you go. If you guys are a streamer and you've never had Blob pop into your stream, please understand, Blob loves to touch hot things and sharp, shiny things. He just does. The Blob, it's all about the Blob. All right. We have this thing, I'm really curious how much this weighs. I'm really curious. I don't know if my scale will go up this high. I was looking at various tortilla presses. I don't know if this will go up as high as I need it to go up. This tortilla press weighs 8.5 pounds. 8.5, yes, hippie, yes. So, the other thing you gotta watch is, this is why I have a baby lock on my oven. Blob will climb into your oven. Just to look to see if there's anything inside the oven. I'm telling you, tragedy. Oh, okay. So maybe we should turn this way. So we're going to put this in here. We're going to put a blob. We're going to put a ball of our dough in here. We're going to put this over the top. We're going to lower this and then squish. And hopefully that's how that's going to work. Cilantro is soap the farmer's life. No, cilantro is deliciousness. Well, okay, so Whiskey Monster was smart. When she was doing her dumpling dough, she used her tortilla press. And I was like, oh, brilliant. So, remember when I told you guys that pico de gallo, this is done with Roma tomatoes and only 1 lime. But you guys can see all the liquid that's going to come out. That's why you use a slotted spoon when you want to serve it up. So now we're going to add in our cilantro. We like cilantro. We like cilantro. We like cilantro. Oh, Hippie did too. That's right. You guys were brilliant. I watched a video on how to roll out dumplings, and I was watching Manchi, and she was like, they flatten it out, and then they hold the dumpling dough, and they roll it up. They turn it a quarter of a turn. They roll it up, keeping the middle a little bit on the thicker side, and getting the edges super thin because those get doubled up when they're folded. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to try that. Good job, Kanara. Let's try something for the very first time during a cooking competition. I think that's a great idea. I think that was a great idea. All right, let's see how much that is. Okay, by a show of the number 1, how many, I know Whiskey Monster has, probably on the regular too. How many of you have made corn tortillas? Homemade corn tortillas? The edges, you had to roll out the edges to make them thinner, gotcha. Wow, a lot of you have done corn tortillas. Well, 3 so far. Only wheat corn tortillas? Hola, Zentas! About 1 trillion times. Yeah, I was like, I knew you probably did them a lot. Nope, never. Today's our first time. And I'll tell you right now, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I will tell you that the first time you usually try something does not always go.
I know, Tina.
Okay.
These ponies are showing some spine, and I like it.
Hello, the Boss Burger walk on. Hello, Araya. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? Okay, so we added our cilantro. We mixed up our pico de gallo. So we had our tomatoes in here, our onions, our jalapeno, and our lime juice, and a little bit of salt. I mixed that up first, let that sit in the refrigerator for a little bit, and then just before we serve, I added in the fresh cilantro. I didn't want the cilantro to get kind of mushy, as it will do if it's sitting in the lime juice, so we mix that in at the very. This is a leather apron. This is made for me by Keen. Keen's here in chat right now. If you do exclamation point, oh look at Jedi already did. Jedi did the exclamation point Keen. He made this leather apron for me and sent this to me. It was a surprise, and I'll tell you, my jaw hit the ground. He knows I love the color red, so he did all the red accent colors. Has my name up here. And he's made others since then, I believe. And if you want different colors or whatever, talk to him. Talk to him. He'll let you know what he is capable of doing based on. Remember, certain colors probably won't translate super well onto leathers. Be like, okay, I know you like that color, but the minute we dye it that color on this piece of leather, it's going to look like muted or whatever. So give him a holler. All right, so we know this is ready to go. So we know this is done. And now I am going to put our convection oven on warm. I do not have, and who knows, maybe making the corn tortillas today will be what tips me over the top. I don't have a tortilla warmer, and that's usually the styrofoam or plastic, and has a nice round lid you put on top of it. So we're going to do a makeshift one. So I'm using a tea towel. So we're gonna make up our tortillas. We're just gonna kind of stack like 2 on top of each other, put a layer of towels, 2 on top of each other, and just do it that way over there. And that's gonna keep it kind of warm. And I'll have my oven on warm over there, so we can keep them kind of. We don't want them cold, but I just want to make sure that we have everything we need in here. So this was our. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay. Oh, did I set my timer? No. Okay, so that's already been going for a little bit. So we're just going to go 13 more minutes. We'll just say 13 more minutes. And then we turn off the heat. And we're going to transfer it to a platter or individual plates. Oh, you know what? Oh my gosh, you know what we forgot to make? Do you know what we forgot to make? We have, this is perfect timing. This is absolutely perfect timing. Where is that? We forgot to do the salad, guys. We forgot to do the salad. Where's the salad? What page was the salad on? Who was keeping my notes? 179. Who was keeping my notes? Okay, here we go. We forgot to do our, and that's good because this still has to cook for a little bit and then it wants it to rest. So now, my store had cabbage. So now we are going to do some sliced green cabbage. So I'm taking off these outer leaves. Those are going to go into the deer. Don't you run away with my notes. You get back here, Tiger. You get back here right now. I will kidnap the bearded dragon, and I will hold the bearded dragon hostage. I will hold the bearded dragon hostage. Now, I'm only going to do half of this recipe. I'm not going to do this whole recipe. Let's put it, I'm going to use a large bowl, even though I'm only going to use half the recipe. And the reason for that is it gives me ample room to toss it. This is going to get tossed with some salt, some lime juice. What else do we need here? Salt, lime juice. Oh, and a peeled carrot. We're going to shave the carrot. We're going to give the carrot a little shave. All right, so this is going to go into, get out my, well, this is perfect. This gives that masa harina time to hydrate up a little bit. Not the full hour it wants to hydrate up, but that's okay. I knew that doing these recipes from this cookbook was not going to be short, tiny streams, guys. I knew this was not going to be a short little stream because we are building flavors as we go. We're actually building, that's a big carrot, right? That's what she said. Oops, did I say that? All right, so that's ready to go. I'm not going to shave that yet. I'm going to cut up our cabbage first because I want to see how much cabbage we have. And then I'm going to add the carrots according to how I want it to look. Now you know why I took 9 hours to make lobster tacos. Heck yeah. Heck to the yeah. Probably should use my big knife. Very little core on this side. Big core on this side. So we're going to start with this one here. Just like on Brussels sprouts, for those that don't like Brussels sprouts, chances are it's because you're not taking the core out of the Brussels sprouts, and they can be kind of bitter. No, this thing is hard as a rock. This thing is hard as a rock. This thing was slicing through the tomatoes like butter. This is one, that core, and I'm cutting out the entire core inside here. I mean, geez Louise, that thing won't even move. Just pulling your leg. Pull the other one, we gotta be even. Holy schmoly. All right, we are gonna come in. Bring it down. Oh, I love cabbage. Cabbage is one of the things I love to do, by the way, is in the summertime, I will cook up cabbage, but it'll never hit the heat. I just salt it a little bit and just keep tossing it, kind of like when you do when you're getting ready to start making sauerkraut. However, I'm not using as much salt. Sauerkraut requires a lot more salt. And that is a great way. It softens it up, but it still has that very fresh cabbage taste to it, which I think is fantastic. Yeet the core. No, the core is going over. The core is going to go out for the deer. But we're going to have to cut this in half because, there we go. Jeepers creepers, that was craziness. This will be for the teenagers. The moms aren't coming down right now, but the teenagers are still coming down. I have never cooked it in sugar. Oh wait, we did. No, wait a minute. We did a Swedish cabbage roll dish that required a lot of sugar. And that was quite tasty. The balance of the sweetness and that real savory cabbage was quite delicious. With the stove you're using, does it have to stay on all day? No. So, interesting point. I do have inside down here, there's a pilot light. I don't need that. There is a pilot light. That's going to turn off now. That stays lit 24/7.
Come meet our family. Let us meet you.
Hey Wong, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome on in. We are happy to have you here. And these, I have the pilot lights turned off on here because it wasn't working as efficiently and would tend to blow out, and I didn't want to fill the room. And this operates off of propane. So I have to manually light all my burners over there whenever I'm getting ready to use them. Taking off this piece because it has some weird stuff in there. All right, we're going to thinly slice this. And by thinly slice, think of coleslaw. I never core out the Brussels sprouts, and they're never bitter. I love Brussels sprouts. I don't care how they're prepared. I love them. But for the people who don't like Brussels sprouts, I recommend you cut them in half lengthwise, not widthwise, lengthwise, and then just make a little V in the core and just pop out some of that core. And then I brown them in a skillet, add a little bit of chicken stock, brown them in a skillet on the cut side. Once they're brown, reduce the heat and turn them over so they're cut side up. Add a little bit of chicken stock, cover them. If you want to, you can add Parmesan cheese just before serving. Well, let's try and see if we can get one more slice out of that on that one side. There we go. Now I'm going to fluff this, and the reason why I'm going to fluff it is because you find these hard cores. Now these cores, this part right here, this is going to go in my bag for stock. These aren't going in the trash because they're a little. If you get frosted cabbage, if you go to a farmer's market or like a U-Pick farm, they will usually tell you if they've already picked the cabbage, they'll put on there frost kissed, and then you know you're going to have some sweet cabbages. I used to think it was called cold slaw. Curtido is El Salvadorian cabbage. Yes, and I have a great recipe for Salvadorian sauerkraut. I have a great recipe for that. That's probably... It's like these pieces right here. These are tough. Nobody wants to chew on these. Nobody wants to chew them, but don't throw them away. Don't throw them away. You can put them in the soups if you're gonna make a soup. Deliciousness. Oh, the deliciousness. Now, there's different kinds of coleslaw. There's a mayonnaise-based coleslaw, which usually has sugar in it, which you get that nice flavor. This is going to be more of an acidic coleslaw. One of my favorite coleslaws to do is just with vinegar, celery seed, dried mustard, salt, a little tiny bit of sugar, just a hint of sugar, just kind of offset that vinegar taste. And I serve that like with pulled pork or ribs or something like that. Okay, I think that's plenty. So we're going to put this, these two are going to go back into, oh, did I get rid of the bag?